This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Checking off the boxes on your to-do list is a great feeling. And when it comes to checking off coverage, a State Farm agent can help you choose an option that's right for you. Whether you prefer talking in person, on the phone, or using the award-winning app, it's nice knowing you have help finding coverage that best fits your needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Close your eyes, exhale, feel your body relax, and let go of whatever you're carrying today.
Well, I'm letting go of the worry that I wouldn't get my new contacts in time for this class. I got them delivered free from 1-800-CONTACTS. Oh my gosh, they're so fast.
And breathe.
Oh, sorry. I almost couldn't breathe when I saw the discount they gave me on my first order. Oh, sorry. Namaste.
Visit 1-800-CONTACTS.com today to save on your first order.
1-800-CONTACTS.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
I had a giddy up in my step in the elevator at the Elster this morning, coming down not just to do the 2 hours of nothing personal, but knowing that we'd have to lead off with the Marlins, and the fact that I'd be walking into a group of people who'd be dying to say the Marlins stink, Marlins Park was empty, everything negative, and I'd get to see Billy and Mike and even Cody, and they'd have no choice but to agree that everything was awesome this weekend.
Yeah, I would like to see you with a giddy up in your step. Like physically, what does that look like when you have a giddy up in your step? In an elevator, no less.
Pablo or Amin could find out.
Okay.
Because
yes,
I was in the elevator doing a small little, like a Snoopy dance.
Yeah.
I only had about 30 floors to do it.
Right.
But I had this great feeling at about 6:21 a.m. this morning that I was walking into a studio that I love walking into at the Elster. I just love it here. And I just felt happy.
Yeah, I get it. And I get what you're saying. 7 or 10 days ago, before I left on vacation, I had a one-on-one with Peter Bendix, and I told him flat out, I want to write a complimentary column, and I was totally worried that after I wrote it, or after I interviewed him, even before it was published, that they would go on a 6-game losing streak, and then it would be me jinxing the team. But since then, they've kept winning. I think they're 24-10 since June 20th. It's been an amazing run.
The last time they were this successful was 2003. A run like this that they've had was 2003.
So we're excited about 6 games back of the wild card?
I'm just excited that there's not one thing, and I think it's 5.5, but maybe it's 6. But I think that even you, Izzy, I don't believe that there's anything you can do to yuck on my yum right now. The absolute giddiness of watching a sold-out Marlins Park and watching them sweep the Yankees. Watching Yankee fans root and cheer for the Marlins, it was my dream for 16 years.
Yeah, and when in the top of the ninth in Game 3, the sweep 3 outs away, they played Sweet Caroline. That was pretty neat.
People don't know that song anymore. We're old.
Well, I think
I know it.
I think it's so traditional. You know, it's almost like a biblical hymn. You know, it's so old. You know, Amazing Grace, Sweet Caroline. You know, I think it's
Hallelujah.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
That's not what Sweet Caroline is. It's Neil Diamond.
I know, but it's good. It's a good song. I'm glad they played it. A little dig at the Yankees, justified. It was fun. But I want to ask you about this dynamic with you because you're a former president of the Marlins. I would think it would be human nature for you to wish ill upon the Marlins, but you don't.
It's the opposite. That's the biggest mistake people have. I want them to win. I want to be part of an organization that has multiple World Series victories. So 97 was without me. 03 was with me. I want another one without me, another one. And then you're part of a legacy of greatness. Mm-hmm. I just want to be one of the cogs in the sort of path toward immortality.
Okay, but
you got to win a lot more rings for them to do it, but it's possible.
But you have to admit that is a misconception about you.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think that you wish ill upon the Marlins. Why would you want them to do well without you? Why would you want them to do as good or better without you? You know, it
did feel
strange.
like you were rooting against Derek Jeter in particular.
Yeah. So he didn't ask me that though, Mike.
So now that there's separation from Jeter, you're back aboard and rooting for the Marlins' overall success. But I think it's fair to deduce that you weren't exactly rooting for the Marlins to be successful with that initial turnover to the Jeter regime?
I was rooting for the business to not be successful that he was running, so he understood how hard it was to run a business, but I always wanted the team to be successful. And so with Jeter, I was very happy when he was gone. And by the way, the ballpark yesterday was full of people happy he was gone. Jack McKeon never would have been there if Jeter were still there. He wouldn't have accepted the honor of going into the Hall of Fame. He was very clear about it. I'm not coming here if Jeter's around. And Jeter was obviously gone. There's still some remnants of him, but very little. They've erased Jeter the way Jeter tried to erase me. It really is funny. All the stuff that Jeter tried to do is now...
So how was your time at Marlins Park, loanDepot?
I still called it Marlins Park. And I met Caroline O'Connor yesterday. I had never met the team president before. And I didn't get invited yesterday, except by Conine.
I thought it was you were an invited guest of Jack McKeon. You weren't even a McKeon guest. You were Conine.
McKeon didn't get guests other than family.
All right.
So Conine called me and said, "Are you coming in for Jack?" And I said, "No. Should I be?" He said, "Come on. It's Sunday the 3rd against the Yankees. Come in." And I said, "Well, wait a minute. I think Dan's away. I may have responsibilities with Meadowlark. Let me find out." And it all worked great. But I did not get an invitation. And the first thing I did is I texted Bruce Sherman. And I said to him, would it be okay? He's the owner of the Marlins. And I texted him, because I don't want to make a spectacle of it. I want it to be about Jack. So I texted him, and I could read you the text. It wasn't altogether anything other than funny.
Yeah.
Where I just asked him, what is your view of me coming to a game? And I put it in a different way. Am I allowed to read a text on air?
I would.
Totally fine, right, Roy?
I would embellish it.
Yeah,
Well, no,
you should make something up. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to
just
read
lie. Yeah,
I'm going to read it exactly as it is.
Okay.
okay.
Go ahead.
Bruce, this is David Sampson. Hope you and your family are doing well. I would like to attend the game on August 3rd when you're honoring Jack McKeon. I didn't want to just show up without letting you know, as I've not attended a game since 2017. Thank you. Let me know whether you would want to catch up and discuss. Have a great day.
Catch up, huh?
I thought that was a...
Did he leave you on red or he answered back?
Oh, he wrote, thanks for reaching out. And I can imagine how important that is for you. Our entire organization is now pulling together and making the right investments to achieve goals in South Florida. And he went on very nicely and said, done. And then I got a call from the PR staff and said...
You didn't ask him about that.
No, it sounds like he assumed it was on the record. That's written like someone that knew you were going to read it aloud.
Well, he listens to the show every day.
Okay, so...
He actually told me that.
To Nothing Personal or to this show?
He listens to Nothing Personal.
No, he doesn't listen. He doesn't listen to us at all.
So you cleared it with the head guy.
Cleared it.
Let's walk through your day, going
Crazy.
back to the stadium you built local taxpayers out of.
Mike,
Tourist
this is
task.
supposed to be
It
It was
good.
all right, but it was diverted funds. It could have gone to something better.
What could it have gone to, Mike? I'm not going to let you keep getting away
What
with
could
that.
it
I
have
thought we were
gone
past
to?
that. No teachers.
Infrastructure, schools.
No, and no.
Wow.
Okay.
Third one.
Okay, third. I guess
You didn't even say
can't.
anything. I like that.
I guess you can't take taxes that tourists pay and put them wherever you want.
You actually.
I mean, I would have thought maybe a ballpark would have been a dumb answer, but clearly that was allowed.
You could have been a
Schools,
convention
stupid.
center.
Infrastructure, stupid. Ballpark, right answer.
We're back
Either
to
way.
this.
We're back to this.
I mean, I'm highlighting the fact that there is obvious baggage. So what was it like for you?
It was fantastic. Baggage. You know how many people came up to me during the course of the game to say, I can't believe you diverted tourist money to this ballpark? Zero.
I would assume the point was made last week when we were discussing this and your return to the ballpark. If there is ever a house that is happy to see you, it's people that are in a ballpark that wouldn't have existed had you not built tourists
And there
that
were
with their tax dollars that
30,000
could have been
people.
diverted to schools.
Greg, I'm not doing it. I
you know what?
promised my children that I would not get into this.
To this day, my support of the Marlins Stadium with taxpayer money is why Billy Corbin and I are mortal enemies. It's good for the community. There's a lot of things that are good for a community. Infrastructure is good. Better schools is good. Let's give all the teachers and cops a raise. That's good too. You know what else is good for quality of life and for a community? a vibrant sports community.
I understand.
A new baseball stadium.
I understand that argument, and the argument was to be made. I think this past weekend was arguably, certainly for regular season, one of the greatest moments in franchise history. It was a great weekend for the Marlins. And I think it kind of underscores that those moments have been too far and few between.
Which is the part that I'm hung up on, Mike, where David talked about, and I don't know the phrasing that you said exactly, but you said you wanted them to do well so you could be a part of what? A legacy of winning? Is that right? They have the least, if I'm to believe Google AI, they have the least winning seasons of any team in baseball. And I don't think nationally they've got to do a lot more winning to, nationally they're just thought of they got lucky a couple of times. So I don't think it's going to take a long time for them to say, oh, yeah, David Sampson, he was part of that really winning Miami Marlins organization.
Keep bringing it for me. I think it must be good for the show, but obviously your facts are somewhat wrong because when I'm talking about winning, I'm talking about World Series. And we have 2 World Series, and there are a bunch of organizations that have 0. And the legacy doesn't come from a good regular season record. It comes from a good World Series.
Okay,
and
those are all
winning
opinions.
rings.
Nothing I said was wrong.
All right. I apologize. Let's move this thing
This is
along.
a fun weekend. You guys suck.
How are we not talking about the
know.
fact that the Marlins are back at 500? They're back with a team that's fun to watch. They swept the Yankees for the first time in franchise history. And above that, our Marlins are the only team in the entire league. Of all 30 teams, we're the only team to have a winning record against the Yankees. The only team in the history of baseball to have a winning record against the Yankees. It's fantastic.
I do want to ask you, David, about the grand plan, though. When you see what they're doing now, they're winning with the youngest team in the major leagues. Is that something that's sustainable? Because when I look at the big picture of the Marlins, I still see an owner, Bruce Sherman, who isn't spending nearly enough money. You can have both. The Dodgers have a great team and a pretty damn great farm system. You can have both. If the Marlins are doing one but not the other, they're never going to compete on that level.
There aren't many teams who can do both. The Marlins aren't the Dodgers. It's a bad example because they're such an outlier. The Dodgers are as big an outlier as the Marlins are.
Okay.
Just on one side of the curve.
So Tampa Bay, right? That's
Great
everybody's example. Okay, everybody's example is Tampa Bay. So you're saying that Bruce Sherman has the excuse he needs to keep not spending by the fact that they're winning with a farm system.
No, because those players get older. And so you have to choose who you're going to let go through arbitration and then who you're going to let get to free agency, who you may extend. There may be a Wander Franco, and I don't mean, and don't take that the wrong way, folks, I don't mean the criminal Wander Franco. I mean a young player who gets a huge deal as a early in their career guy, like a 0+. Would you sign Stowers? Stowers, the guy who's now on a list with Cliff Floyd and Carlos Delgado as the most lefty home runs for the Marlins ever, it was a throw-in in the Rogers trade. That was a Connor Norby trade. Connor Norby now has been completely passed by Stowers. Meanwhile, Rogers is good on the Orioles. But you never know with prospects. But would you sign Stowers now?
Of course I would. He's the only all-star. I would sign him.
Well,
But what do you sign him for? I mean, it's been half a season. A little more than half a season.
Yeah, I wouldn't lavish him with a record contract, but I would try to sew him up for a few years because they need to do that.
He is signed for 5 more years.
Okay, their pitching staff is looking solid. Yuri Perez the other day had a gem of a game. But they still need a big bat or two, right? Okay, why not before the trade deadline spend a couple of those prospects and actually surprise people by spending big money on a big bat? I'm just saying you can do both. You can have the youngest team in the league, but also spend more than Sherman's spending. That's what continues frustrating for me.
You've had an issue with every owner and what their spending is since your time in Miami.
Right.
I believe you had the same issue with Henry. You had the same issue with Laurie and the same issue with Sherman, right?
Right.
So is it a you thing?
No, it's looking at the teams in baseball and the amount of money they're spending and the correlation with winning. And if you're forever using the example, Tampa did it, we're going to do it. We're not going to spend and we're still going to win. It's a faulty premise. That's all. And you can do both. Like if I'm sitting here with Bruce Sherman right now, I'm like, why can't you do both? Why can't you have the youngest team in the league and have a solid farm system, but also occasionally go out and spend big for a free agent? Why is that impossible?
I actually think the Marlins in the years that followed their 03 win provided a model that could be sustainable if they were in their own ballpark. That was always the excuse from the Marlins. But they did spend. They were aggressive. They made acquisitions. There were bidding wars for guys like Nick Johnson. The Paul Duca trade was a big trade. They went out and went for it. They fell short. There was a series against the Astros, I think, that stopped you guys from taking that core back to the playoffs. But that window closed. You guys didn't have the playoff appearances to hang your hat on, and you said you couldn't maintain that level of spending because you didn't have the revenue attached to a ballpark. Cut to them now having the ballpark, they're still not spending money.
They don't have the revenue.
They're still crying poor.
Well, I would just like to say tonight's an interesting game because they're playing the Astros, and I will bet you $1 to a donut that their actual paid attendance will be around 12, maybe 14. And regardless of what they announce.
It'd be great for them to carry this momentum through.
But it's very hard. It was a lot of Yankee fans, but the Yankee fans were cheering for the Marlins, and that gives me great pleasure. But if you're allocating your money over a homestand, you went this weekend, you're likely not going to go against the Astros, though you should, because the Marlins are playing to go over 500 today. In theory, they're on the outskirts of a race, but it's still fun to watch. But they won't.
Do you think that there's maybe connection points to in 03, you guys had a big-time regular season series against the Diamondbacks. You had Don Trell versus Randy Johnson, ESPN, nationally televised, I think, one of those games. And there was momentum. There was certainly, as someone that had a ticket plan then, there was certainly an uptick in people attending those games. Now, it's a little bit different. 03 was better positioned for a deeper run. They had players entering their prime. They had known commodities. But if there's ever a time for this franchise to gain some traction, it's when they have the calendar to themselves off a sweep of the Yankees right back into another game to keep that momentum going.
So what would you do?
I would have probably shown the fans a good faith effort in being a little bit more aggressive in the trade deadline. However, Billy was telling me that they certainly weren't sellers at the deadline. They made some moves. It would have been cool to get like a Carlos Lee type of acquisition.
That's a funny choice.
Well, I mean, you guys were good for a couple of those. The Carlos Lees,
we tried to buy whenever we could.
The Delgados. Like, whenever you guys thought you had an outside chance at the playoffs, or a slightly better than an outside chance. I don't think it was to the point that you were like 6 games back. But whenever you guys were within earshot, like a series sweep away from being in that playoff conversation, you guys were active in those trade talks, and I'd like to see this Marlins regime kind of go for it a little bit too. Bring in some recognizable names to reward the fans and their
I
their
thought
loyalty.
You were mad, Mike. I thought, Billy, the two of you were angry that we traded young players to bring in. Like when we got rid of good players like a Luis Castillo or a Chris Paddock.
No. I got mad because you traded away proven commodities like Jose Reyes, Josh Johnson, and even when you when you point to that move,
I would have traded Stanton for Manny, honestly.
Would you really?
Yeah,
I would kind of wanted Manny.
Manny Ramirez would have been so fun.
Yeah, I wanted to.
And then adding him to that team. Imagine if Manny would have been down here for a season. If you would have gotten a ring with Manny Ramirez,
if he would have played,
fine, getting rid of Stanton,
a
forever.
Legacy.
Got rid of Stanton anyways.
Wow.
We never got Manny.
Let's assume that he plays the exact same way that he did for the LA Dodgers.
I'd even take the steroid suspension a year later. Anyway, who cares? D. Gordon got a steroid suspension. If we would have had that year of Manny and that Terry one, whew.
I should have called you.
Yeah, you
because
should've.
the argument with the marketing people were all in. Because Stanton, at the time, as you will recall, was not Stanton.
He was still Mike.
He was Mike Stanton.
Yeah,
who was
totally different person.
Totally different person. But he had the same body.
The Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is sponsored by BetterHelp. You ever go online looking for mental health advice? Suddenly I'm knee-deep in cold plunges and morning routines and some guy yelling at me to wake up at 4 a.m. and conquer the day. It's overwhelming. The internet's basically one Wild Willy Wednesday, but it's every day. Chaos, vibes, no clear answers. That's why therapy helps. A real licensed therapist can cut through all the noise and help you figure out what works for you when you're working through something big or just setting boundaries, so you don't lose it in group texts. BetterHelp makes it easy. It's the world's largest online therapy platform with over 30,000 therapists and more than 5 million people who've tried it. All online, super convenient, and you can switch therapists at any time if it's not the right fit. BetterHelp has a 4.9 star rating from over 1.7 million reviews. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/DLB. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DLB.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm someone that's constantly adding stuff to different carts on random websites. Like there's a teal Marlins hat that's been calling to me for like 2.5 years that I'm constantly getting advertisements for. Is something eventually I'll purchase because I keep those things in the cart. Then I see it, that beautiful glowing purple Shop Pay button. Boom, checkout's done. I don't even have to get up and find my wallet. That, my friends, is Shopify magic. That little purple button means that the store is powered by Shopify, which doesn't just make it easy to buy, but ridiculously easy to start and run your own business, too. Whether you're a giant like Mattel or Gymshark or, just launching something weird from your garage, Shopify has your back. Let's be real, if we can run a show with this much chaos, you can run a business with Shopify. With hundreds of beautiful templates, tools for payments, inventory, analytics, marketing, it goes on, and it's all in one place. And yes, that purple button, that's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Batard. Go to shopify.com/Batard. Shopify.com/Batard. Hey, it's Jeremy here. I don't know if you've noticed this about me, but I'm not quite someone who loves confrontation or fighting. I don't really want to end up in a situation where I need to do so. For me, Simply Safe becomes the way I want to protect my home. Because not only is there like the personal peace of mind of knowing that my security is preventative, it's not just an alarm after an event. I want to make sure that my wife is okay, that my cats are okay, that everything I have in my home is okay, and knowing that I have to deal with like the stress or the violation of someone potentially breaking into my home and reacting to it versus having the control and safety of proactive prevention is huge for me. Most security systems only react after a break-in. Simply Safe helps stop it before that happens. Their new Active Guard outdoor protection uses AI cameras and live agents to spot suspicious activity, speak to intruders, turn on lights, and call the cops before anything goes down. Simply Safe is offering Le Batard Show listeners 50% off a new system with professional monitoring. Plus, your first month is free. Visit simplysafe.com/DLB to claim the offer. That's simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Dan Le Batard.
Go pee-pee.
Stugotz.
Go pee-pee.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
You said that they kind of remind you of 03. When I was walking in, Mac mentioned that they kind of remind him of the 97 team.
Wow.
So I don't know which is it.
The 97 team was way more veteran. Remember when Huizinga put that team together? He put a bunch of veterans together, and he actually said, and I wasn't in baseball at the time, but as a fan, I remember Huizinga saying, if I don't get a new stadium built for me, I'm trading them all, whether we win or lose. He was very honest. You were in the media. Mm-hmm. He was honest during the season.
Yeah.
He didn't wait for them to win the World Series to do the fire sale. He told you mid-season, I don't know where this ends, but it ends no matter what. Off the field with us trading every one of them.
No, Huizinga was a great owner in this community. Panthers, Marlins. I mean, he was vilified like a lot of owners are when they leave. But and he did have fire sales. But Wayne Huizinga should be seen as a saint in this community.
Ooh, I don't know about saint, but I mean, when you pass, I think people can point to the legacy in that the teams exist because of his contributions.
Yeah.
Dolphins fans feel a certain type of way about him, but Panther fans and Marlins fans should owe him an eternal debt of gratitude because he was part of groups that brought those pro sports to town.
That's a pretty big barometer to start with when you exist because of this guy.
Would you have booed at Wayne Huizinga's funeral?
I booed Wayne Huizinga when you guys brought him back the last game at the old stadium, and he was there and like, Wayne Huizinga, and I was like, boo!
What, are you booing the...
I hate him. I don't like him.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, no, I don't want to meet him. I'm happy not meeting him and booing him.
Yeah, you'll never meet him, Billy.
Well,
but
good.
what's the
worked out
origin
perfectly
of the
for
boo?
me.
Yeah.
What's the origin of the boo, Billy? Are you angry
Broke
that
up my championship team, David.
So the fire sale of 97.
Yeah, boo.
And
very
nothing
impressionable.
about Dolphins, Panthers.
Nah, I don't care about that. Boo.
Hey.
Do one bad thing. That's it. Look at OJ.
That's a conversation ender. That you're going to compare Wayne Huizinga to a murderer.
Well, no, I'm not comparing him. He did murder my franchise. But I'm just saying, one bad thing kind of sticks out more than all the good things. Can I ask you a question unrelated to all of this, but somewhat related to this weekend?
Transition.
Stanton, I would say, in a weird way, just because he ended up on the Yankees, he has a career that will possibly, probably get him in the Hall of Fame if he gets 500 home runs, but still feel almost like forgotten in a sense. Like he's not a guy that I think people think of as like one of the all-time great home run hitters just because he's on the Yankees. He's playing at the same time as like. Is there a way to quietly be a Hall of Famer with 500 career home runs? Because I feel like he may be doing that.
Was Harold Baines a quiet Hall of Famer in your mind?
Well, that's an example of the flaw in the voting system. That's a guy, Exhibit A, Harold Baines is a Hall of Famer, is a travesty, right?
He's such a good guy.
I don't care. He's such a good guy. You know how much? Okay, don't get me started on this.
Wow.
I'm a Hall of. You may not even know I'm a Hall of Fame voter. Okay, Harold Baines, in years of voting, years and years, 15, 20 years, whatever it was, of voting by the BBWAA, I don't think ever got more than 4-6%.
You only
of the
get
vote.
10 on the ballot.
Okay. Eventually, and we have another example is in what just happened in football, where Sterling Sharp gets in on his 28th year on the ballot. Quit veterans committees. Quit putting in these players who have been passed over for decades. And Harold Baines, a great example. I don't know what even led to that, but you bringing up Harold Baines, come on. As an example of what?
The name Harold Baines just sets you off.
I mean, it's just nothing personal, Harold. We've never met. You were a very good player. Pretty good. Hall of Fame? You got to be kidding me.
Do you have Stanton above Harold Baines or below?
Yes. Yeah. Stanton, 500 home runs was always you're in. And with the exception, I think, of Jose Canseco and all his off-field baggage.
Mark McGwire.
Gary Sheffield.
The steroids
Rafi
guy.
Palmeiro.
The steroids
Roy Bonds.
guys. Right, the steroids guys.
Other than those exceptions.
Yeah.
So if you're a steroid guy, you still have trouble getting in, although that is a whole different discussion.
Well, if you're a steroid guy that people liked and had, fun personality,
Right.
you're in.
Yeah.
First ballot.
Or a catcher.
No questions asked.
But
or
DH.
DH.
I personally
from
think
Boston.
Stanton will get in because he's got no baggage that I'm aware of. So he's a Hall of Famer to me. What do you think?
If he gets 500 home runs, he will be a Hall of Famer. I just took exception. I think what Mike is saying is that, or was that you, Billy? It's hard to know, or maybe that was Izzy. This whole the
It was
room.
me. It was Billy.
I thought I was walking into a room of just calm and great, and it turned around in the first 5 minutes of the show, and I was sad about that.
No. In fact, Billy was right to seize on that. I was trying to dig myself out of it. I'm just, for the uninitiated, I'm framing that where your place is in Marlins history. It's a complicated one. So back to your experience at Marlins ballpark. See any familiar faces? Was there
So
any
many.
awkward moments, or it was all a positive experience for you?
I met the new president of the team, and I'd never met her.
She's great.
And all I know is that she was associated with Jeter. Now she's trying to disassociate herself from Jeter. And she said something to me that I took as very nice, that the person I was with took as slightly condescending, but I took it as fine. It was, hey, you should feel very proud of the role you had in all this. And so I took that as, wow, that's very nice of you to say.
Yeah, building exists.
Because they're in a building that is a building because of what we did, honoring a championship team that we were a part of. So I didn't take it that way, but I was with someone who was like, oh, you need to respond to that.
Did you tell her about the time capsule or no?
Were you with me yesterday?
I wasn't, but I have a feeling.
We went searching for the column that has the buried time capsule because we wanted to put a plaque on it, and the new Marlins won't put a plaque on it. It's going to be found whenever you rip down Marlins Park. There's 2 capsules, and they're in the columns on the north side of the building, and I've got the video from August 26th of 2009 of the capsules being buried. And in there, like the World Series DVD, because when you discover it, you'll want to watch the 03 DVD. And we put in a DVD player.
Oh.
Because how else would we be able to play a DVD?
Yeah.
Smart.
We thought
So
that
was this,
smart.
like, you don't plan on ever seeing this in your lifetime, right?
No.
So what is the payoff?
The
Like, you
payoff-
go to your deathbed knowing that 100, 200 years from now, somebody's going to find that?
It's the payoff of
They'll
any-
rip it off before then, trust me.
Well, it's Miami. It's under concrete. So it's not like it's going to get, no water will get it and animals won't get it. There won't be bones underneath there. This is going to be something that eventually will be discovered. And we have a date on it. We have people's initials. And when you open the box, it's like a sarcophagus. When you open the box, it's got all sorts of items in it that we have cataloged, and we'll all be dead, I would assume.
What year do you think that they tear it down and they open up that time capsule, if you would ballpark it?
I would assume in 2080.
Be 90 years old, so maybe I see it.
If I had to guess.
New stadium on the horizon, huh?
I mean, I'll be likely dead. Unless
You'll be gone, yeah.
I'll live to 100. I could live to 112.
You could live to 112. No. You're in good shape. I'm looking at you as a 112-year-old man.
You know what? Then I'm going to have to go with 2110.
Okay, let's do it.
And
all right, then I'll be dead.
We could go 2112 and say that's 100 years of the ballpark, and say that's when they'll tear it down. How old was the Orange Bowl when they tore that down?
Felt like 800.
Right. Was it around a couple centuries? Anyone know when the Orange Bowl got built? Greg, were you alive?
I was not alive.
1935 was the first game.
Yeah, it was just prior to the Great Depression, I'm told.
So it didn't even last 100 years.
No.
So lasting
Good job,
100 years is way hard. So I may be alive, Izzy. In which case, it would be amazing, and maybe you guys will do a show, because you'll still be doing shows here, and you'll say, what exactly was that you buried? But Mike, I got to see a lot of people, a lot of security people who remembered me. Some didn't know me. They were new. I got to go down and see the visiting clubhouse, and I did not get into the home clubhouse. I wanted to see whether the Muhammad Ali plaque is still there. Which is have you been in the home clubhouse recently?
I think it is. The last time I was in there.
You walk in and turn right, and that's where the plaque is.
Yeah, and they also still have sayings in there, I think. Inspirational sayings or something like that.
The Miami Orange Bowl broke ground in 1936. They played their first game there in 1937. The Orange Bowl game was first played in 1935.
There you go. Where'd they play it?
Elsewhere.
Like
St. Elsewhere.
Was there another stadium in Miami?
Looking into this. Just a moment.
Bobby Maduro Stadium? Do you remember that?
It's got to be before it, no?
Alapata?
So Bob Odenkirk is one of my actually all-time favorite actors. He could be comedic, he could be dramatic, obviously Better Call Saul, one of the great shows literally of all time. And a couple years back, he showed up out of nowhere as an action star in the movie Nobody. And I honestly really loved it. I couldn't believe what I was watching and had an absolute blast, was blown away by his physicality. The movie was a ton of fun. And now he's back in the sequel, Nobody 2, hitting theaters on August 15th. So Bob returns as Hutch, and this time he tries to go on a vacation with his family, only for all hell to break loose. It's really a delight to see a guy like Odenkirk kicking some serious ass. Nobody 2 is produced by 87 North, the same team behind hits like John Wick, Bullet Train, and The Fall Guy. The film also stars Connie Nielsen, RZA, and the legendary Christopher Lloyd and Sharon Stone. Nobody 2 is a perfect summer movie. You don't want to miss this one. Nobody 2 is only in theaters August 15th.
What does Zyn give you? Not just smoke-free nicotine satisfaction, but real freedom. Freedom to do what you love and choose your rewards. With Zyn Rewards, you can redeem points for premium tech, outdoor gear, and gift cards to your favorite retailers. Find your Zyn and keep finding rewards that fit your lifestyle at zyn.com/rewards. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Howdy, folks. It's Mike Ryan. Happy summertime, everybody. Summer is fantastic. A lot of outdoor activities, a lot of concerts, a couple of championship parades if you're lucky enough, a lot of big-time movies. Maybe you're going to a happy hour before you see a big summer blockbuster with your friends. Why don't you order a Miller Lite at the bar? Whether it's via draft, glass bottle, or that beautiful white can, or the cool special edition 50th anniversary gold cans. Making any time this summer a Miller time is always a great idea. You want to make a summer memory that lasts forever? Well, crack open a Miller Lite. You know why? Because since 1975, Miller Lite has been the go-to way to stock your cooler to celebrate those incredible summer moments. This year marks 50 years of Miller Time, 50 great years of taste, 50 great years of celebrating with great friends and making unforgettable memories. Brewed for flavor, with simple ingredients like malted barley, it delivers that rich, balanced toffee note flavor and golden color that just hits different. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Cheers to 50 years of Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Don Batard.
I heard that as a woman faking pain. I didn't think that sounded real. I really didn't, you know.
It was not fake. It was in no way fake.
Yeah.
You can spot a woman faking it?
Stugotz.
Yes, I can, Jess.
Expert.
I've been married 40 years.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Mike, I felt all the great feelings of great accomplishment.
Why would you have felt bad about that comment, by the way?
I didn't. So I asked the person I was with why the reaction was, and it was someone who had known that she and Jeter had been less than nice toward me before, and so went in with a negative attitude, sometimes the way you guys do. But it turns out that she was being
Why'd
totally
you point directly
nice.
to me?
And in response, did you say, Niner, I thought she was authentic?
I did not say that.
You didn't say Niner?
I said, Louie, Poppy, you misunderstood her. There's a lot of Spanish being spoken, but I did park in a no blocky spot because I had no access to my old garage, no access to my old spot, and I had to go through security. I could not go through the player entrance.
That's crazy.
I couldn't go through Jeffrey's garage.
Did you wear your ring?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a moment. It feels like a little high school reunion.
So why did I wear the ring? Because we were celebrating Jack and the 03 championship. Everyone, Conine wore his ring, Terror wore his ring. Louis forgot his ring because he's Louis.
Classic Louis.
It's what he did.
Speaking of living to 110, Jack McKeon looks great for what, 94?
Secret to aging.
He turns 95 in November, and I said to Jack yesterday, I had you wrong all the time. You looked absolutely so old when you were 71.
Yes, that's a secret to aging.
You have
He's
to look
looked
old when you're
71
young.
for 40 years.
Yes. It's an amazing thing. When you look old when you're young, you are in great shape. You just have to make it there.
Yeah.
And he's made it. He was staying at the Hard Rock, doing gambling. He and Carol gamble at a casino. That's what they do. They were put up at this nice hotel by the Marlins. He turned it down because he wanted to gamble. And so he goes with Carol, his wife, who's slowed down but amazing, and they sit in the machines.
Oh, yeah, they look like a slot machine couple.
He plays slots?
They do.
With a
Is that
cigar
gambling?
sticking out of his mouth and just hitting the button.
Of course it's gambling.
2 cigars at once. That guy smokes.
Do you know slots are the #1 revenue of the casino?
I bet they are.
So that's gambling.
Okay.
It's
All right.
like prop bets.
Speaking of revenue, do you think that the fact that Marlins don't draw crowds, is that an excuse for an owner not spending? Because my understanding is that baseball revenue streams, attendance might be third on the revenue stream. So is whether they're averaging 14,000 fans or 24,000 fans, they're still making money.
Well, it doesn't matter. Don't ever look at attendance, guys. Look at average ticket price. You have to look at how much people are paying for those tickets.
Right.
Because you can get 30,000 people at $1.
Right.
And then you're only making 30 grand.
Yeah.
That's not so good.
Okay.
Like those dollar days and dollar dog days and all that stuff. But really the revenue that hurt the Marlins and it's hurt the Guardians, it's hurt the Cardinals, all these payrolls going down, their TV revenue disappeared. The Marlins had a great TV deal ready to roll and then bankruptcy.
Yeah.
The regional sports network went bankrupt. Therefore, all those deals got renegotiated. That's why all sorts of payrolls went down. The Dodgers have their own deal that their company did not go bankrupt because it was guaranteed by Comcast, whereas the Marlins, the Cardinals, the Guardians, the Brewers, the Braves, everyone else only was guaranteed at the regional sports network level, which means they couldn't go higher to the main company in order to keep their contract going.
Okay.
So there are a bunch of teams whose payrolls have gone down. Are you saying, okay, you don't agree or you don't buy it?
I think there's a chicken and egg thing at work. I think if you're consistently winning, the crowds will increase. I think if you have a starry roster with a couple of big names peppered in, attendance will increase. I think if you're constantly going with the opposite, that attendance is stuck.
Yeah, the Marlins have never drawn before me and after me.
Right.
It's just it really is not me. It's been going on forever, but the exciting part of yesterday is seeing why the ballpark was built and what could be. That's what interested me. Walking around, Mike, when I walked around, I was interested in talking to people, and I talked to people wearing Marlins stuff. I talked to people wearing Yankees stuff. I talked to families that had both, and I just wanted to know how they're doing. And they were just happy.
Yeah.
They were happy to be there. They were happy to have the memory, the experience. They weren't like you guys. They were just happy. And that made me happy.
It always amazes me that Marlins fans who do go to games aren't more upset with the franchise. I keep expecting to see signs.
But this has been
saying,
a good
Sherman,
season.
spend some damn money.
But this is such a weird time to be mad about that. Like, they crawled back to 500 after being 16 games
it is right
below.
now. You're right.
They have Agustin Ramirez, who could win the NL Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
Kyle Stowers came out of nowhere, has 25 home runs. Like, they have young talent. They didn't add at the deadline, but they didn't sell, which is what everyone expected them to do, in part because it was a surprise team. A lot of these guys are under control for a while now. Even Sandy's under control. Like, in the offseason, we can see if they get a better offer for him and end up moving him, but they seem to be kind of building a foundation here, whether you think this run is fluky or not. Now, I guess, let's see what they do in the offseason, if they add or if they don't.
But isn't that PTSD from Greg? Like,
it's
I
the
need to do this
same
right now.
thing.
We need to get better right now because we're not going to have much time with these guys.
Yeah, right. Because the modus operandi for this franchise for decades has been you develop a great player, and when he's coming up to award with a lavish contract, that's when you sell him and reduce your salary again, right? I mean, it's been rinse, repeat. No? Come on.
I can't talk to you right now, Greg.
Okay.
Is it because you have something in your throat?
Yeah, drink some water or something.
Okay.
No, the reason I can't talk to you is that you're not talking about any other franchise, and you do this all the time. You do this as a columnist, and as a team president in this market, I couldn't stand it.
I talk about other teams.
No, but you don't.
Yes,
so
I do.
I'd like you to tell me another team right now where you perceive that they keep everybody always.
Who's mad now?
I'm very angry right
Okay.
now, and I was trying to stay calm this entire segment,
Okay.
but you just triggered it.
Tell
me, it's the Marlins for decades.
I single out the Marlins because they, for decades, don't spend to a major league level.
I'm asking you to go through other teams. Just tell me about the Twins. Tell me about the Guardians, the Rays. Tell me about the Royals.
Wait, are you going to do the thing where we pick really good teams and you're going to cherry pick like the one guy of their
I'm going to
core?
do the Yankees. I'm going to go through all the teams.
But there are really good teams, like say the Astros.
They're a great example. They let Correa go.
They let Correa go, even though Correa's back. I thought I read that somewhere. But there were plenty of guys important to that core that stuck around. Altuve's still there. There were pitchers that had a hand in their appearances that are still there. Or so I read. I don't really follow the sport.
Are you talking about since the 2017 championship? That's 8 years ago. They've got
Springer Dinger moved on. I know that.
They've got McCullers and Altuve.
I mean, that's pretty good. Holdovers from a championship team.
Okay, so I'd like you to go through the 03 championship.
I mean, certainly longer than Miguel Cabrera hung on.
Miguel Cabrera didn't win a championship.
Yes, he did.
After 03?
No. I mean, in 03, he won I'm talking about championship
players. 04,
players.
05, and 06.
Yeah, that's 3 years. That's way. Altuve's been with the Astros for way longer. Talking about identifiable faces of the franchise, you can cherry pick a couple of franchises that have decided to move on from contributors, but at the very same time, you can point to their roster and say, there's someone still on that roster from that championship run that fans can still identify.
Historically, the Marlins don't have a lifer. Like, we can't argue
That's
that.
why-
It's just
why Jeff Conine is Mr. Marlin.
Like free agency obviously has changed the way that sports work as well. But the Marlins, when you have their Hall of Fame that they exist, the question is, well, who was the first one to get in? Like, let's try to figure that out, because there isn't a actual Mr. Marlin, even though Jeff Conine has that nickname and he doesn't like it, just because there aren't really any lifer players. It is the pattern that Greg has stated is what does end up happening. It happens places elsewhere too, but this has just been a unique franchise because of the success in the 2 World Series, where fans are less accepting of it because it's like, well, we built it, we had this championship team, and then they got traded anyway.
It's a pretty unique problem that the Marlins have, that it's hard to put someone in the
because
in
of
their
the
own Hall
success.
Fame.
Because of the success.
I'm still whistling Dixie in the elevator, doing a 2-step, because I am not going to
Probably
allow
shouldn't whistle
any
it. Yeah,
of this.
probably shouldn't
Although there has been a
whistling
societal
Dixie.
shift.
I'm very happy, had a great weekend, had great fun, and I'm proud to be a Marlins fan, and I assume that you guys one day will be too.
Hey friends, it's Jer Bear here, and I'm here to tell you all about Boost Mobile, which is now a legit nationwide 5G network. So I must take a break from the jokes here for a second and put on my serious voice, because I would never ever joke about a 5G network that has invested billions building 5G towers across the country. Not even once. Not even if Mr. Boost Mobile himself asked me to.
there is nothing funny about it. Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network and also provides coverage across 99% of America. Seriously. Visit boostmobile.com or your nearest Boost Mobile store location to learn more. The Boost Mobile network, together with our roaming partners, covers 99% of the U.S. population. 5G speeds, not available in all areas.